Welcome back to Hobby Jogger Elite. And welcome to another week of workouts. Here, I'm actually about to go out for my first workout of this week. You've been following along as of late. Training for a 5K right now, sort of in part of my lead up to my spring marathon. So spring marathon, first weekend of April, and the 5K is not this weekend, but the following weekend. So like a little more than a week and a half out from the 5K, which I still don't know how I'm going to do, because if you're familiar with my running background at all, or you've been following along lately, you know that I am not the speediest runner out there. I would definitely say that I've sort of naturally been inclined towards trying out, but also like just being better at my first attempts has been the longer stuff. You know, whether that's the half marathon, the full marathon. And I am trying to drop my 5K PB from a very unimpressive, I think it's 18:15 or 18:14, down to below 18 minutes. I love just the long endurance stuff. So this is all a change of pace for me, pun intended. And today I'm going to be doing 2x mile, 2x800, 4x400. And the goal is to do the miles probably like a little closer to threshold, maybe like 10K. And then the 800s a little quicker than 5K pace. And then the 400s at more of like the 80-second range. So yeah, sort of one of those workouts where, again, as the distances get shorter, I'm trying to get faster. Let's get into this workout. All right, out on the warm-up, which should be about 3 miles. Have a few things to note as we are a couple weeks into this at this point when it comes to this Daniel's 5K, 10K training plan. One big thing is, and you may relate to this if you're somebody who does, 1 or 2 workouts a week, it's a pretty big adjustment, definitely bigger than I thought it would be, going from like 2 quality sessions where I'm doing usually a workout on Wednesday and then a long run workout in my long run on Saturday or Sunday. Going from that to doing like a Tuesday speed session, a Friday threshold session, and then a long run on Sunday, like it's definitely a noticeable difference in the amount of fatigue that I carry on a weekly and even daily basis between those two systems. And it's definitely because, there's one less day of, having an easier run or having a recovery run. So definitely is testing me a bit more, and I feel like I've adjusted to it well. I'm definitely running slower, like quote unquote recovery efforts on my easy days between, the Tuesday and Friday workout, or even the Friday and Sunday quality sessions, just because having less days to recover, whether that's going from 3 days in between quality sessions to 1 day or whatever it might be, you can't like just run steady on your easy runs, or even run at what your normal quote unquote easy effort or easy pace may be when you're only doing 2 workouts a week. So I think if I were to do this for a while and be able to balance those days effectively, it's a great way to get fit, because just doing quality work 3 out of 7 days as opposed to 2 out of 7 days, it's going to add up. You do that for a full year, that's 52 more workouts than you would normally do if you're doing 3 a week as opposed to 2. But I think I slightly prefer the 2 quality session plan, just because of that bit of extra recovery. And I found that when I was doing 2, I was able to sort of convince myself and find the discipline to do strength training and mobility work and core training. These past couple weeks I've skipped it at every opportunity, just because it feels like I'm essentially working out every other day, and it's just tough to find that time to relax, like, mentally, when it feels like every other morning you wake up and you either have a pretty hard workout or a long run. So we'll see if it pays dividends. I don't know if it's a true test, because, you know, I might slightly reduce my mileage next week, but I have no intentions of having like a full-on taper week where I'm running half the amount that I usually do, you know. So not sure. But beyond that, also wearing new pair of super shoes today. The ENDORPHIN Elite Ones from SAUCONY. I'm really excited to give these shoes a try. You might be saying, why did you get the first version when the second version just came out? And I would say that I put off buying a pair of the first version because I kept seeing these rumored images of the second ones. They looked really cool visually, but I kept hearing that the foam had softened up such an incredible amount, and I found that I do enjoy a max cushion shoe. I like a max cushion super shoe, race shoe experience. I do not like when it is overly soft. I think the Alpha Fly is sort of the perfect blend between max cushion and enough firmness and stability that doesn't feel like you're gonna break your ankle every time you go around a turn. And the way I saw people stepping into this new foam and the ENDORPHIN Elite 2s just didn't seem like a shoe for me. So I am running for the first time in the first version right now, and they do feel really good. And, you know, coming from somebody who puts quite a bit of their mileage into a shoe like the now retired ENDORPHIN Shift 3, I feel like I'm one of the rare fans of that shoe who was pretty upset when they discontinued it. This feels like a pretty natural sort of installation in the race department for somebody who runs so much in the Saucony ENDORPHIN Shift 3. So I'm liking them. I've only run a little over a mile of warm-up, but we'll see whether I'm running my 5K in these or if I'm running my 5K in the Alpha Fly 3s. Alright, just your normal everyday guy getting some dynamic stretches in on the side of the road. 3 miles of warm-up done. Do have to say that these shoes feel great. I heard a lot of people say these things were like deceiving in the sort of like max cushion foam department, that they look like marshmallows but they're very firm. I would tend to disagree with them. They don't feel mushy by any means. They feel like sort of that perfect combination of a lot of foam underfoot that feels bouncy and propulsive, but does not sink down an incredible amount. I would say they're somewhere on the spectrum, like a little bit softer maybe than like Light Strike Pro in the Adios Pro 3, and they feel more cushioned than that, and they certainly feel more comfortable than that, and lighter. So I'm not seeing a ton of downsides with the shoe right now, but I've only run an easy 3 miles in them, so it is time to go ahead, get some reps in. Okay, felt surprisingly good for both of those. Suspiciously good. I can't remember, I got on the first one maybe like 5:55. I'll put them on the screen. And then I think it was 5:45 for the second one. And I don't know if it's the shoes or fitness or all the terrible food I've been eating for like a month straight, but I'm definitely nutritionally at my least healthy, and carrying fatigue from these 3 quality session weeks and not doing any strength training. But 5:45 never felt that good for a whole mile on a hilly loop. So we are recovering from that, knocking it down to 800s here. So we got 2 of those coming up. All right, first 800 done. I think it said it was 5:33 pace, so that's a 2:46 or 2:47. So goal is to actually run these slower than I did for my track workout last week, because those were just supposed to be hard. I want these to kind of give me a better indication of what it might feel like to push a little harder for actual 5K pace. So I want these to be maybe just in the 5:30. So honestly, a little quick on that first. All right, 5:35, a mile for that second one. It's like 2:47 again. Definitely not easy on the development loop, but it's still there, still rolling. So 3 of the 4 miles of quality are done. All I've left are 4 400s, and these may very well be the hardest. So I'm just gonna say that anything in the 5:20 mile range, 80 seconds plus or minus a second or two, will be fine. All right, and workout over. That went better than I thought it would. I think the first one for the 400s was right around 80 seconds, but I don't know what the times are. I'll put them on the screen. I think I went all in the teens, and then the last one was like 5:10 a mile. So really pushed that one. Had a bit of a headwind on the first and third, bit of assistance on the second and fourth, but I don't know if it's like low confidence is the way to describe it. It might be more so just like, low expectations, because I know running a 5K, running a marathon, they're still just going outside and running, but I do feel sort of out of my depth with this faster stuff. Yeah, just going into these workouts where my paces need to be much faster than what I train at the majority of the time. It just doesn't intimidate me, but definitely makes me go into the workout thinking, like already saying it's okay if you don't hit these paces, just finish the workout, adjust as needed. And I've been doing that, but then I've just been hitting the paces and more. Happy that I was able to have a complete workout there where I was getting faster with each at least distance. So great way to start this week of workouts. Going to cool down to 10 or 11 miles, currently just short of 9.
All right, it is Friday, lacing up the Endorphin Speed 2s right now for a little threshold session. So if things go to plan, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this 3 workout a week structure. I have had a bit of, I wouldn't say any part of it has been like a hate relationship, a sort of like love, not so thrilled relationship, I guess you would say, with having 3 quality sessions a week, something I only really tried a few times really early in my sort of running adventure, if you want to call it that. And I saw a lot of progress quickly when I was doing this back when, honestly, I was first getting into like racing half marathons. It's like the tail end of 2020 into 2021, when in a matter of, I think it was maybe like 10 to 12 weeks between races, I raced 3 half marathons. It went 133 to 128 to 125 in not a lot of time at all, doing this 3 workout a week structure. And while I had a lot of progress, I also ended up dealing with a number of different injuries. I think I had my first like pretty chronic like IT band problem that resurfaced a number of times throughout, a few months, and dealt with like runner's knee and a couple other things. So I pretty much strayed away from it since then because it just felt like my body couldn't handle it at the time. And maybe now it can, with a little bit more sort of awareness about how I should treat intensity across different workouts and just having more mileage in my legs at this point in my life. So yeah, I don't know if I'll keep doing this, but this is probably the last time, if it goes to plan, that I'll be doing my second workout of the week on a weekday. So today I'm doing 5 by mile at relative threshold effort. And the idea for me, because I'm pretty tired, had a semi-late night. It's the holiday season, been seeing friends and family almost every day for the past week and a half or so. Slept all right. It is like 22 degrees out and like 15 to 20 mile an hour winds. That's just kind of been the name of the game outside when it comes to the weather for the past few weeks. But yeah, I want to start around like a half marathon type of effort. So maybe in like the high 6:0 region, 6:10 maybe, and work down to more of like a 5K effort. So maybe it's in the 550s by the end. We'll see as we go. But yeah, let's get this one going. 3 miles of warm up in the books. About 24 minutes into this, and yeah, it's one of those days. My weather guys will get this. There might be mucus all over my face right now, but it's fine. It's one of those days when you check the weather forecast, and the wind speed and the wind gust speed are the same number. And when that number is like double digits, or like closer to 20 miles an hour, it's not going to be a fun one. Wind is my enemy, but luckily we only have to contend with the wind on like one stretch of this loop here, so not too incredibly upset about it. Took 1 gel, warmed up 3 miles. Don't know how much filming we'll get done. We're just gonna see what this one gets us today, and that's okay.
A few moments later.
All right, workout is over. I managed to not film a single second of a single rep there. You might be able to hear the wind now. Maybe my hand's doing a good job of blocking it, but so windy today. Every rep was just an absolute war with the wind, so not a day, even if you feel fast, that is going to be fun when you're running half of your rep into pretty strong headwind. So still managed to essentially do what I wanted to do. Heart rate and pace and progression through the reps reflected what the intention was, but I don't know. I think I don't like wind more than any other weather element, so yeah, not a fan. But going to cool down here to 10 or 11 miles and call it a week of workouts there. We are now just, I believe it's 8 or 9 days, whether you want to count today or not, from the 5K. So I will do a long run on Sunday. We will turn around next week with I don't know if it'll just be a normal 5K specific workout or more of a tune-up workout. You know, haven't decided if I'll sort of slightly reduce mileage or not. It might just happen on its own because I can't really do a weekend long run next week with the 5K being on Sunday. So yeah, stay tuned for what winter 5K week will look like. Temperatures look like they will be at the highest in the low 20s. So should be fun. Until next time.